Let me call the meeting to order, please. We'll have a roll call of the Drainage District Board of Directors.
David Fuentes, Precinct 1.
Eddie Cantor, Precinct 2.
Joe Flores, Precinct 3.
Eli Torres, Precinct 4.
Richard Cortez, County Judge. That constitutes a quorum. Mr. Singh, will you please lead us in prayer?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Judge. Let us pray. Father God, again, we give you thanks for another day that you've given us, Lord. Thank you for the opportunity you provide to serve this great county, Lord. We continue to lift up our elected officials, Lord, especially our judge and 4 commissioners, Lord, that you've appointed to lead this great county, Lord. Continue to provide them with your wisdom, Lord, with your insight, Lord, and more importantly, with your peace as they continue to make the decisions that affect us all, Lord. We continue to ask for your guidance as well for myself, Lord, for all the workers of this great county, for all the leadership of this great county, Lord. Just thank you for the opportunity you allow us to serve it. I ask this in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Do we have anybody sign up for open forum?
Yes, sir, Judge. Actually, we do have 2 individuals. Commissioner Cantu? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We do have 2 individuals. We have Commissioner Cantu and Francis Loredo. So I'm going to remind the audience to please respect the speaker's time at the podium. There is a 3-minute time limit, and I will advise when there is 1 minute.
So I just wanted to give a quick update on the wellness program, and I thought this would be the appropriate place since 2 of our all-stars are coming from the Drainage District. We have Laura Briones that I think has perfect attendance, attending every morning at 5 a.m. And then we also have a gentleman named Abraham who's attending our fitness classes pretty often. We have a lot of departments that are participating. Of course, Precinct 2 has been participating, Drainage District, HR, led by Mr. Siguero, who goes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, every at 5 a.m. The DA's office, who we just recently met with on Thursday, has been attending. Emergency Management, Chief Saldana made his first appearance yesterday, and he has staff there also. The Judge's Office and the Sheriff's Department, we've seen a lot of people participating. We have 270 members on our Facebook page. The great thing about our Facebook page is you get to see what other people with similar goals are doing, from meal preps, workouts, recipes, results. We have people that are off their diabetes medicine or reducing their diabetes medicine. We have people that they're taking less of their high blood pressure medicine. And then, of course, we have people that are losing weight that are talking about it on the Facebook page. Yesterday, Monday at 5 a.m., we had our biggest class, which was 20 people at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. is the most popular class, followed by noon and then 6 a.m. We had, last Friday, we had about 12 people attend our 5 a.m. class, and usually on Friday, that's when people are tired of working out for the week, and yet we still had a real good attendance. I went to an event Thursday at the FAR Event Center, and from the moment I walked in all the way to the front of the FAR Event Center, everybody at the county was talking about wellness. And so we have a really good buzz going in terms of people seeing that there's an opportunity to do something about their life and their fitness. Obviously, the main goal is to lower our healthcare expenses, but if we can help one employee get healthier and get better and live longer, that's a successful program. So I just kind of wanted to give an update. Thank you.
Thank you. Next presenter is Francis Loredo.
Buenos días. Mi nombre es Francisca Loredo. Soy de Eduardo 5. En esta mañana venimos a agradecerles por habernos brindado el servicio de recoger la basura para nuestra colonia, y también queremos pues ayudar a darles a conocer que nuestra oportunidad que nos dieron es para tener el mejor para no tener problemas con el drenaje referente a la basura que se va acumulando, pues ya que a veces no tenemos el tiempo para limpiar lo que otra gente tira, y nosotros tratamos de mantener nuestros lugares limpios, y para tener un mejor drenaje. Y eso es lo que nos está faltando un poco. Bueno, pues muchas gracias.
Gracias.
I can do it. She just wanted to say thank you for the Colonia cleanups that we were having. She's from Eduardo Cinco in Precinct 3. These Colonia cleanups have been helping. We're trying to do this effort to get all the trash out of the drainages, and we think it's very important for all the colonias in Precinct 3 to have a clean ditches so like that the water can go and not flood different neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all we have, Judge.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion
Yeah,
carries.
for the record, no issues, just payments, standard payments that have been vetted through my staff, yes. Thank you. Item 5A, presentation of Dow County Drainage District Number 1 Annual Tax Collection Report 2018-2019. Mr. Villarreal.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Good to be here. Okay. This morning I'm here before you to present the annual tax collections report for the Hidalgo County Drainage District from July the 1st, 2018 through June 30th of 2019. We go to the first. Okay, Brett. Okay, if you look at the first slide, we have the tax collections for base, penalty and interest and attorney fees. The tax collections consist of current, delinquent, and rollback taxes. Total collected for 2018-2019 for the Drainage District was $33,964,405.70. If you go to the next. Okay, on this one, this is just a recap of the disbursements. So with the recap of total current, delinquent, and rollback base, total penalties and interest, total tax collections, total attorney fees, total disbursed is $33,964,405.70. Next one, Edgar. Okay, and this one here, this report here gives you an idea of how we did last year to this year. If you look at the current collections to date, right in the middle, last year we collected $29,826,562.62. This year, current collections to date, it's with no penalties and interest, it's $31,170,448.60. So we collected $1.3 million above last year's collections for the drainage. Last year's percentage was 94.26. This year's 94.33%. So we're very happy about this. On the next chart, we have a 5-year comparison. In 2014, we had 93.80. 2015, 93.97, 93.81, 94.26, and 2018, 94.33%. So I think we had a great year for the Hidalgo County Drainage District. The recap, as far as the next, is the delinquent tax attorneys. They couldn't be here today, so they're going to make the presentation probably sometime next month. So that pretty much concludes my report. I know that I have a couple of supervisors here from the different 8 offices that we have throughout the county, but I'll present them at the when I do the annual collections report. So thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Do we have to move to accept that report, or?
This isn't an action item.
All right.
No action.
Okay.
Thank you. 5B, presentation by Burt McCumber, Longoria LP of the Dow County Drainage District number 1, 2018 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report and Audit. Mr. Longoria.
Judge, members of the board of directors, good morning. Mr. Bettis, good morning. My name is Ricky Longoria. For the record, I'm a partner with Burt McCumber and Longoria. Of course, our firm was contracted to perform the audit of the Hidalgo County Drainage District for the year ended December 31st, 2018. I know you just had the audit report placed in front of you. It is a significant report, as all county reports seem to be. I believe it's 165 pages. So certainly it's not my intent today, of course, to go over every single page. But certainly I will continue to offer what I've had in the past, and that is I am a mere phone call away. If you would like to meet and discuss it in more detail, I've always made myself available to each and every one of you all, and we will continue to do so feel free to reach out to me. Okay? One thing I do want to comment on, given that we are here in mid-September talking about a December 31st financial audit report, and that is why are we here in September talking about December 31st financial audit report? I want to assure you all that it's always been our goal to have the audit report completed by June 30th. If you look at our audit report letter, and we'll get to that in just a second, it is dated July 1st. The audit report was provided to management, I believe, on or about July 15th. In fact, it was presented in a time frame that was acceptable to the General Finance Officers Association. As you may recall, we had the opportunity to celebrate the award given to last year's audit report. And this year, this particular audit report was remitted to GFOA as well, and certainly it is our expectation that this particular audit report will continue to earn that award. So I just want to address that with respect to timing. Before I get into what I consider to be probably the more important set of numbers within the audit report itself, as usual, I've got to go over what's called the governance letter. It is that letter that's that insert on the first page. Certainly, again, I'm not going to read that letter, but I'm just going to highlight each and every point if it's okay with the board. Again, this particular letter was put out by the profession to try to bridge what's called the expectation gap, trying to bridge what auditors really do versus what people in general believe what we do, and sometimes those expectations are vast. In this particular letter, this confirms the fact that we audited the financial statements as of December 31st, 2018. It addresses the standards for which the audit was conducted, which is not only generally accepted auditing standards, but also government auditing standards, which is a higher level of auditing. What the Drainage District was not, what they did, the kind of audit they did not have to incur this year was a single audit. They did not receive federal funds in excess of $750,000, which would have triggered a different and even higher level of auditing. And so that was not necessary for this particular year. The first underlined item speaks to significant audit findings. I think the important item there is just to acknowledge that any audit report has estimates in it. We were just talking about the tax collections here earlier. For example, the allowance for uncollectible taxes is a significant estimate within the financial statements. And so just acknowledging that not every single number within a financial statement is an exact number. Sometimes there's judgment involved in driving that number. The next page just speaks to difficulties encountered in performing the audit. I want to continue to commend staff and their ability and desire to have complete ownership of the audit report. Certainly, we are still participating to some degree in the preparation or assembly of the audit report itself, but I do think that they're making great progress towards that end. Acknowledging that there were 29 audit adjustments that were posted. However, the audit adjustments came from management themselves after they, if you will, there's a period of cleanup after they give us a trial balance, and so those are the adjustments that they provided to us. Confirming that there were no disagreements with management. Certainly in any audit, you may have differences of opinion with respect to accounting principles and things of that nature, but there wasn't anything in there that I consider to be a disagreement per se. Confirming that, of course, that we did get a management representation letter dated July 1st, 2019, management acknowledging that is their responsibility, that is their financial statements at the end of the day, and what we've been engaged to do is audit their work. Speaks to management consultations with other independent accountants. To our knowledge, there was no consultations with other independent accountants to derive, if you will, a second opinion. And then speaks to other matters at the bottom of this particular letter, just acknowledging that certain amounts and financial statements within the audit report itself are unaudited because they represent supplementary information and things of that nature. And so that is a summary of this particular letter. And unless somebody has a question, I was going to go dive right into the audit report itself.
Well, I have some questions, but I'll reserve them until the end.
So I'd like to turn to page 7, and page 7, and feel free to turn or you can just hear me speak, so to speak. But page 7, again, is a copy of last year's Certificate of Achievement for Excellent Financial Reporting. Again, congratulations to the district. This pertains to the 2017 report. Our expectation is that for 2018 that this particular report will also earn that same award. If I turn to page 13, and page 13 really is what we get paid to do, if you will, and that is express an opinion on the financial statements themselves. It is a 3-page opinion. Certainly not going to read it in detail, but I will speak to the most important part of that letter, and that is what is our opinion. And so on page 14, on the second paragraph, it does speak to the financial statements being audited, and at the end of the day, it does speak to the fact that the financial statements presented before you are fairly stated in all material respects, and so that's a clean and unqualified opinion. And finally, and I always I'll never forget the client, and you've heard me say this before, he says, Ricky, quit talking, go straight to the bottom line, so that's where I'm going to go. If you turn to page 32, page 32, I think is probably certainly one of the more important statements within this 165-page bound report. It is a statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances, and it's summarizing for you as a Board of Governance how the general fund and each of the major funds ended up with performing during the year ended December 31st, 2018. So, for example, focusing on the general fund, because that's really where I think the focus needs to be. It summarizes what revenues were for that year, which is 17.9, expenditures of 19.8, and if you go straight to the bottom line, which would be the third line from the bottom, it shows that the Drainage District for the year ended December 31st, 2018, actually had more expenditures than it did revenues of $3.6 million. And you can ask, well, why? What happened that year? I would say there's probably 3 or 4 things that happened. One is headcount. During the year, y'all added 22 employees to the Drainage District, meaning that as of 18 you had 164 and then 17 you had 142. 18 also too you had a rain event. Also, we can't forget what happened back in June and July. It caused the Drainage District to have unanticipated expenditures of close to $1 million that had to absorb, and so that's another reason why expenditures were greater than revenues. And at the end of the day, I think what's really important is, well, in terms of fund balance, what did that do to our fund balance? And so your fund balance as of that year end was $17.9 million, which is approximately $18 million. And that's always been critical. I know people always talk about a rainy day fund in the most generic sense, but in terms of what the overall objective of what the Drainage District does, the rainy day fund is appropriate terminology, I believe. And so, in terms of, well, how much rainy day fund do we have available to us? And it's not quite a year, but if you look at the fund balance of 17.9 and just look at total expenditures of 19.8, again, almost a year's worth, not quite a year, but it's pretty darn healthy right now, and that's a good thing. And sometimes when you look at things, it always helps to look at things in perspective. And relative to, well, and so if you go to page 78, and page 78 is the same statement that we were basically looking at with respect to the general fund, and it shows it by comparison, 2018, 2017, 16, 15, 14, and you'll see that certainly in 18, again, excess of revenues of expenditures over revenues of 3.6, but last year was 600,000. 16, 828, 15, you were up $5 million, and I can almost assure you that in years where there was expenditures more than revenues, there was typically a rain event in that particular year that caused that to occur. So I think that's probably the most important thing. And then, of course, I know you all are going to discuss budget here shortly, and so I wanted just to show you, if you wanted to see how you all did on your budget compared to last year, concerning the conversation you're about to have here shortly, on page 35, there is a budget to actual comparison that shows, the original budget, the final budget, the actual amounts for the year and the variances between them. You'll see the biggest variance again coming in drainage flood control, where you actually spent more than what you actually budgeted, and I think for the same reason that I just described earlier.
And that was going to be my comment. I think if you look at our historical, everything seems to be in line, with the exception of the capital outlay, which
Correct.
last year in 2018, if there was anything that was highlighted, was our need for more drainage projects. So without the funding of the bonds that came later in the year and weren't funded until 2019, I think the investment of the $6,200,000 was well worth it. And had you not had that kind of investment, we still would have been about $5 million in fund excess.
Sure.
With respect to revenues over expenditures. So I don't think it's a matter of the drainage district not being fiscally responsible. I think we all have focused on and seen the need for more infrastructure. So I applaud them for investing these $6 million into local projects.
Judge, you mentioned you may have a couple of questions.
Yes. Did you provide enough work to determine whether all our legal requirements were complied with?
Yes, Judge, and so it's not just, obviously, we're not attorneys, but in terms of you're paying your debt service, for example, on your bonds. Certainly you made every single debt payment, and you made it on time, both principal and interest. In terms of being able to pay your normal obligations related to service providers, and even to the extent that you needed to pay employees, I think certainly from the drainage district perspective, that system's in place to make sure that all those were not just paid, but paid timely as well.
Okay. Well, we've made several agreements with the taxpayers. The first agreements that we make with them is every time we issue a bond issue, we make an agreement as to how we're going to use those funds. Is that true?
That is correct.
Okay. So we've had several in the drainage district. Okay. And through the period of time, when we borrow money in the past to provide certain improvements with that, you expect for us to fully spend the money because that's what we borrowed it for.
Correct.
Okay. And have we done that in the drainage district?
Yes, sir.
With all the bond issues?
Yes, sir. In fact, I know the drainage district maintains a schedule that outlines every project that was agreed upon prior to a particular bond issue, and the timing of that schedule in terms of their progress. Certainly not all the money has been spent so far. There's still money to be spent. There's still improvements to be made. But certainly we did not see instances, for example, bond money being used for anything other than what it was allocated for.
Okay. And in terms of how good did we estimate what the cost was going to be when we went after that money? Did we were good at estimating those costs, or were we not?
Yeah, I mean, I would say at this point, again, focusing on the word estimate, because that is an estimate. But at this point, we haven't seen where there have been material draws from the general fund in order to finish out a project, because there's still been some sufficient monies within the debt service funds, if you will, or the capital project debt funds, bond funds, to be able to finish out the projects.
Okay. Well, the last question I have, and those were the answers I was expecting. I just wanted to make sure that the public knew that. The last question is, we also make a commitment that we budget ourselves and that budget means something. And you just showed us a budget variance or whatever. Is it your opinion that the drainage district is adherent to the budget requirements that we impose on it?
Yeah, and so there's different philosophies on budgets, Judge, and a lot has to do with the tone that's set at the top. So, for example, I've worked with governance bodies that are very strict on their budget. That once they set their budget, it is totally set. Okay, there is a what's the word I'm looking for? Just a strong environment to not make budget amendments, for example. And that's not to say the budget amendments are bad, because sometimes they're necessary. We just talked about the rain event, for example. But if you look at that particular page that I showed you on page 35, you will see, the difference between the original budget and the final budget. And so something must have happened between the original and the final budget that caused amendments to occur. Certainly, once the final budget was settled on, if you will, so the actions of the drainage district weren't exact, because things will never be exact. But for the most part, I think that you all are doing a good job. Can you always do better on your budget? We can always do better on a budget, and so that would be my overall response.
Okay, well, I appreciate those answers. Any other questions by anybody?
I have a question and a comment. My comment is, I like to see a healthy fund in this account, in this drainage district, because this is where we could have catastrophic events. So I'm happy with that. And I don't know if the term is deficiency or finding. Is there a deficiency or finding that you have this year that you've had in prior years? In other words, it has not been corrected.
No, for the drainage district, as they have been growing, I think internally they have been adjusting in order to be able to have the systems in place to be able to monitor the growth and expenditures related to that particular growth, Commissioner. And so the short answer is no. They do not have findings, if you will, that have perpetuated themselves year in and year out. And that's the answer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Did you have any findings?
No.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your report.
Sure thing. Thank you all.
You'll
Thank
be
you
here for county?
Yes. Well, not today. That's still scheduled. And so going back to how I started the meeting, we will be reaching out for y'all for county. Again, just if y'all always make ourselves available to y'all on a one-on-one basis, and if not before the presentation, certainly afterwards. But you can sort of expect calls from our office.
Are we accepting, is this the final audit report?
This is the final with respect to the drainage district, and that's presented to y'all for acceptance. Yes.
Are we, so we are,
Yes, sir, I would.
okay, I motion to approve the audit report as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to accept. Is it accept or approve?
Accept.
Okay.
Accept.
We have a motion and a second to accept the audit report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you for allowing us to
Thank
do
you.
the service.
Thank you.
If I may, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Item 5C, 1, approval of the Alcounty Drainage District 1 classification compensation plan. What we're proposing, Judge and Commissioners, we're looking at proposing a compensation plan that mirrors the county current plan. The district does not follow one at this time. We have been looking at following one for quite some time. My understanding the county adopted it last year already. And the idea is to put the employees in an actual grade and step, as you know, and then look at the possibility in the future of merit increases and so forth. And when an employee leaves, opening that position back at step 1, or if it merits some other, I guess, position in that grade based on experience and so forth, still have the flexibility to do that in some cases. So we wanted to present this to the board, wanted to see what the board's wishes are on this item. We would like to pursue it in hopes of trying to get something in parity with the county. I know some of the compensation that we have with the district, some positions are equal to, some are not as well paid, I guess, or compensated as in some of the county. So we want that parity. We've grown tremendously at the district, as Ricky just presented, and we have some good professional staff there that I'd like to continue to provide for and reward for their services they're providing to the district. So.
And you worked with Sigero on this?
We have. I know that Mr. Truk has been working, and Ms. Briones has been working with Ms. Sigero. Just basically, they provided the guideline, and if you see the policy mirrors the exact county policy. We basically took it, just made some changes when it refers to the county versus the district. The actual position list, we followed it with the exception of some, like they don't have licensed engineers or EITs that we needed to put into our description.
But if you have like a maintenance one and an admin one, they're paid similar?
Yes.
Or exactly the same as county?
Yeah, it's all in the same grade, same step. That's the whole intent. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel, but we are putting positions that they don't have, that we have, survey techs, things like that. We have surveying crews and things like that. So yes, but all that does mirror it, sir. Yes. And that's the idea. That's the plan. So, it's a presentation, or I know it says approval, but it's for discussion. I don't know if the board has any questions. I know it's kind of a.
Well, I'm personally glad that you guys are finally taking this step so that I've always wanted the drainage district to kind of be like the county. In other words, when we give COLAs, cost of living adjustments, we give them to the county, we give them to the drainage. And so I always want us to be in the same playing field, so this will take us that additional step. You want to read them? You want to?
Well, I mean, I can go through the actual classification compensation plan, the policy and procedures, like I said, is all outlined in the county. I mean, it's several pages, but it's all,
I think you did number one already.
We already did one?
Well, he read it. Do you want to go one by one
on the,
on your agenda?
yeah, and I can go to item 2, approval of the Dow County Drainage System 1 classification compensation plan policy and procedures pending approval of Civil Service Commission, which is the policy that we're looking at, and then the third one would be to use the actual approval to use the Dow County CCP salary table as 11 steps and 21 grades, 3.5 difference in salary by step, every step and 3.5 increase.
We're going to have a long agenda. Why don't, let me suggest this, why don't we approve it subject to having our human resource office compared to what we have in the county, there's no material changes to accept on that basis?
Right, so we were going to approve all 6, at least from what I
C1
Yeah, but he's
through
got to read.
6.
C1 through 6, is that, and subject to the final legal review and an approval from, and concurrence with.
But you've
human
already
resource.
talked to HR, right?
Oh, yes, we've been in communication with HR, correct? Mr. Sierra's in the audience as well, yes.
Do you have any comments? I mean, you following the same thing we have at the county?
So motion to approve 5C 1 through 6.
Yeah.
Second.
Thank you.
We're in agreement, Commissioner. All we need to do is go to civil service, since they are under civil service as well.
Awesome.
We'll schedule it at the next meeting that's available, and we're okay with it.
And it says subject to legal review and approval, so motion accordingly.
Okay, well, we have a motion and a second, and it is subject to legal review and approval. But also to have confirmation that what he just told us, which we didn't have before, that it basically does mirror the
Oh,
county.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay.
We work
So-
closely with a lot of county
Yeah.
departments.
So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Ceci, Judge, if I may, could we please recess Drainage District, open Commissioners Court, scheduled for 10 a.m., and then recess Commissioners Court and come back to Drainage District in compliance with the statute?
Okay.
Or posting notice?
May I have a motion to recess our drainage district?
moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I now call the Commissioners Court meeting to order. May I have a roll call?
David Fuentes, Precinct 1.
Eddie gone through precinct 2?
Joe Flores, precinct 3.
Ellie Torres, precinct 4.
Richard Cortez, County Judge, that constitutes a quorum. May I have a motion to recess our Commissioners Court meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. I have a motion to reconvene the
So moved.
Board of Directors for the
Second.
Drainage District. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. If I may, item 5D, presentation discussion, Dow County Drainage System 1 budget for 2020 calendar year. Since I always have to get all the fun presenting, I'm going to have Ms. Briones present this budget this time, so she helped prepare it. Okay? There you go.
Good morning. The first page, I guess everybody has a copy of it. We have our unassigned fund balance from general fund of, looking at page 1, of 16 million. What we did in this page is we projected a fund balance for the end of the year. Some of the items that we have not come and budgeted or increased revenues are some increased earnings. We budgeted low last year. Rates were low. They have come up. Of course, last month they went back down again, but we did benefit by approximately $601,000 in interest. Some of our, and the gas and oil royalty, we had been working several years, I believe, to finally get that windfall of $1 million. That finally came in. We will be increasing our revenues, and I think Raul has a special purpose for that.
Is that going to be an annual amount, or is that a one-time?
No, it's just,
That's right now, just one time right now, and then obviously, as those continue, we'll see how that develops. If that's still a producing well, then we'll be monitoring that.
The last item is unexpended budget. I mean, typically, we look at unreserved fund balance, or we look at our budget under the understanding that we're going to spend everything that's budgeted. I mean, because we can. But I've been here a lot of years, and that's never happened. There might be some costs that we encumber. We don't get to the following year, but we have to develop that cutoff at 12/31. So there's that estimation of the $700,000 that we're placing on there based on history. Okay, so the projected fund balance for the drainage district is $17,271,000. There was one item that I know Raul mentioned. If you go back to page 1, that $1.5 million, that amount is every year we pass the budget, and then during the year we have some amendments that come up. That amount is the total amount of amendments that we make during the weeks of Commissioners Court. So each of those items that we have on page 2 were presented to the board, and we had increases to our budget for those items. The majority was a carryover for purchase orders from the prior year. Those purchase orders were budgeted amounts, and we encumbered. I know there's a large amount for some heavy equipment that took probably 6 months to come in. We didn't receive it until 2019, so we have to budget for those heavy equipment. The other items might include engineering that take more than a year or 2 years to complete.
So just to clarify on that, $1,289,000 or $290,000. This is a carryover from open purchase orders from 2018, which
Yes.
had sufficient budget to cover this.
That is correct.
So the budget surplus that we carried over is now being used.
Yes.
And I just want
A
to make
portion
sure
of
that
it.
people understand that we didn't overspend by 1.3 million.
That
We
is
brought
correct.
this money over from a prior year, right?
That is correct.
So it's not an overspending of this year's budget, correct?
Yes, and if you look at the estimated expenditures for the current year, it will exceed revenues, but that's the reason why.
Yeah, and a third of that million two were vehicles that you purchased, but you didn't get until.
Vehicles
later.
and trucks, I believe,
Yes,
from
sir.
Rush.
Yeah.
So we've been investing in heavy equipment and
What,
vehicles and things like that.
I looked at all those numbers. I wasn't sure about other professional services. I know engineering, architectural. We have other professional services listed in 2 different places.
Could be,
94,500, what was
could be
that?
appraisal services, could be
Okay,
things like that.
okay.
And
okay,
some are
okay.
included in the M&O
Okay,
budget,
all
and
right.
some
I
are
was-
in the administration.
That explains it. Okay.
Do you
And what was the
capital-
insurance? What insurance did you buy? Other insurance, 118,000.
The other insurance on the, which one? Oh, that was part of the workers' comp. What we did is that TML, we pay TML based on a budget so from the prior year. So since we've been increasing in employees from 16, 17, and 18, and of course, TML finishes their fiscal year at midpoint in July. So in essence, in 2018, we paid workers' comp based on the
Okay.
budget of 16.
Okay, so it's basically work.
Yes. And then at the end, they audit and they compare with actual, and we have to pay the
Well, good
difference.
job. I really understood your numbers. Thank you.
May I ask a quick question? Do you capitalize engineering into your capital outlay projects, or are those considered separate expenses?
No, we capitalize them.
So you do capitalize
Yes.
anything that's part of that?
As long as it has the construction, we'll complete it, and if there's not, I know a lot of times we'll do the engineering and we won't do the construction till maybe a year later, or our in-house staff will complete the construction. So we won't capitalize it until the work is
Until
complete.
it's complete. Okay.
The only other question that I have is on page 2, on the very bottom, cost of living adjustment.
Well, and that was just, we wanted to present that to the board regarding what the impact would be to the district for our personnel. And like the Commissioner mentioned earlier, sir, the wish of the board will follow as far as what the county does
Okay,
as well.
so that's pending what we do
That is
for
correct,
the
sir.
county is
We
whether
would
you're going
remove
to do
that, that's why we put it separate, sir. We
Okay.
just wanted to
I
present
thought,
to the board.
I
for the
thought that's
impact.
what you were doing, I wasn't sure.
Yes, sir, that is correct. We'll follow, as mentioned earlier.
Okay, so if we were to approve your budget today, are we approving it today?
No, it will be approved next Tuesday.
Next week,
We just
okay,
wanted to present
all right.
it.
So
Actually,
that-
in
Well, sorry.
September 25th. or
Okay.
4th.
Yeah, I
All right,
apologize.
okay.
Next Tuesday.
Got it.
Yes, sir, right now it's just the presentation, but no, we would remove that, obviously, with the.
Okay.
What you do with the county, we'll follow that.
Any other questions?
Is that all, or do you want me to?
And again, any questions, definitely, I'm available, and Ms. Briones, Mr. Truk also have done a great job in putting this together, the budget. They've worked together with their staff and our county staff there at the district, so we're available for any feedback, any guidance, or anything regarding what we're proposing. But as stated earlier, we look at everything, what our revenues are and what our needs are. We have been growing a lot. A lot of our revenue jump that we've had, we've invested primarily in heavy equipment, personnel, things like that, and projects as well, developing projects out in the field, in-house construction that we've done, in-house design, and so forth. So those monies, those revenues that are coming in are being invested in improving drainage for our community. So we have all that information.
As we discussed yesterday, just one last thing on the, if you could add an appendix
Yes, sir.
of the potential new sources of revenue or the sources of other projects that may come up. I know that we have some grants out with TDM and
We'll
Water
put that
Development
down.
Board. And so if you
Definitely.
could itemize that as far as what we anticipate we may get. Obviously, there are no guarantees, but if we could have a schedule of what we have out there potentially.
We have $2 million that's been already allocated, just a matter of getting the agreement, or getting the check in now. We've already got the agreement for the Water Development Board. And you're correct, sir, we have the GLO possibility, we have Water Development Board possibility, and we got some stuff
Well,
pending.
you know HUD money's coming. You know that HUD disaster money is going to come early next year, so.
We'll look at that, sir, yes, and you're correct, I'll put that together.
Thank you. Next item.
Okay, thank you. Item E, discussion relates to September 5th, 2019 meeting with the Army Corps of Engineers. We met at our office with the Army Corps of Engineers. We had Colonel Vale, who was the district commander for the Army Corps here in the district office, and Dr. Russo, who's the deputy district engineer. And a lot of the team members were there from the Corps. It was a very productive meeting. We talked about our Rainbow Drain project and where it's at right now in the environmental stage. We're hopeful that by the beginning of the year we'll have that have that approved. It's key that they came down because we need to continue that communication with them, not just in this project, but other projects that we're looking at working with the Corps on to develop projects that we feel will definitely provide additional resources and additional funding for our area, and then drainage improvements for our area. So it was very productive. You know, my engineering team was there as well. We had some good dialogue, and what came out of that meeting was we're going to follow up in about 3 weeks, and I'll share that with the board. We're going to have another conference call, just kind of discuss where we are on that project and continue the dialogue on any possible projects that we can work with. We suggested maybe talking to IBWC about improving some of that, some of the floodway pilot channel, which is the main outfall for our southern area and our eastern area of our county. So they were very receptive in communicating with that. We're going to try to put that together. So very productive meeting, good information that was shared. And as I mentioned, when we have that follow-up, we'll share it with the board. So we can definitely have any board member call in and be up to date on what we're doing there with the Army Corps of Engineers.
Next item.
Thank you. Item F, requesting approval of interlocal agreement with the City of Vanderbilt as it relates to Dull Drain Ditch Project, Midley North Monte Cristo Station at the Lowell subdivision. It's already been vetted by legal, and we're requesting approval. Everything's in order for us to be able to assist with the improvements of that ditch.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item G, requesting approval to accept bids and to execute a requirement agreement with sole responsible bidder, meeting all specified requirements, RFP number ACDD 1-19-062-0821, concrete mix and related items, subject to legal review and compliance, House Bill 1295.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
6A, requesting acceptance and approval of work authorization number 2 in the amount of $13,516.92 to submit to BDC Engineering LLC in relation to professional CMT services for Hidalgo Drain Military Road Crossing 2018 Bond Referendum Project 13 through award contract number CACDD 19-033-0507 for Hidalgo County Drainage District number 1 on-call professional construction material testing services. Subject to legal review.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. 7A, requesting acceptance and approval of work authorization number 3 in the amount of $5,857 submitted by Millennium Engineers Group in relation to professional CMT service for Dulce County Relief Channel Overflow Structure Improvements through award contract number CACDD 1-19-030-10409 for Hidalgo County Drainage number 1 on-call professional construction material testing service, subject to legal review and compliance, House Bill 1295.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
You want to wait? Yeah. We'll wait. I know you're running late. It's just an update on an item, but we can always wait.
Okay, so we have no closed item?
No, sir.
Motion
Oh,
to
yes,
adjourn.
just to remind the board that next Tuesday, we do have our public hearing at 9 a.m. The next board meeting will be at 9 a.m. It is our public hearing item. Thank you.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to have a motion to reconvene our regular board meetings of the Commissioners Court.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. This morning, as is customary, we always ask one of our veterans to help us with the Pledge of Allegiance. Today, we are honored to have Staff Sergeant Marcos Lopez, United States Army Reserves, retired. He will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Sergeant Lopez served from 1994 to 2017. I'm proud to say that Sergeant Lopez is also a member of the Hidalgo County family. He's a surveillance nurse in the Department of Health and Human Resources or Services, Public Health Emergency Preparedness Programs. Sergeant Lopez served as Operations Sergeant for the medical company tasked with detainee operations during Operation Iraq Freedom, New Dawn, Camp Cropper in Iraq from 2010 to 2011. All in all, Staff Sergeant Lopez served 23 years in combined service with the U.S. Army, the U.S. Army Reserves, and the Texas National Guard. Sergeant Lopez, thank you so much for your service.
Maureen, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the democracy alive in our country and for the freedom to worship you. Help the elected government and in all positions of power and authority to govern wisely and for the common good of all. Amen.
Amen.
And if you can remain standing, we have a moment of silence. Tomorrow, our flags will fly at half-staff in honor of Patriot Day. This is a remembrance of 9/11. On September 11th, 2001, 19 al-Qaeda militants hijacked 4 airplanes, carrying out suicide attacks against U.S. targets. 2 of the planes were flown into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City, and a 3rd plane crashed into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. A 4th attack was thwarted by the brave passengers who fought the hijackers, and that plane crashed as well. 2,763 people died at the Twin Towers, including 343 firefighters and paramedics, 23 New York City police officers, and 37 Port Authority police officers. And about 10,000 others were injured and have since suffered from the effects of that. At the Pentagon, 189 people were killed, including the 64 passengers on the plane. Excuse me. And all 44 passengers were killed when the fourth plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania. In total, 2,996 people were killed in the 9/11 attacks. We're never going to forget the heroes of 9/11. People who rushed into harm's way to try to rescue those who were trapped, and those who fought off the terrorists on United Flight 93 to avert another attack. We're never going to forget how people came together in unity and support and in patriotism, the likes of which hadn't been seen since World War II. And we're never going to forget the families whose loved ones were taken from them. As Americans, we have turned that day of unspeakable evil into a national day of service and remembrance. And one of the ways we can honor those we lost and give thanks for the first responders is to donate our time and talents in service or by simply doing a good deed. 1 minute of silence. Thank you.
How many of you remember what you were doing on 9/11?
On Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday. You were in the commissioner's court. He was in the commissioner's court here.
You're getting ready to leave.
Okay, next we have the approval of the consent agenda.
Judge, Commissioners, with your permission, I'd like to take from consent agenda out of order consent agenda items 3E, 7A2, and 9A.
Make a motion to approve the rest of the consent.
Oh, sorry. I would like to pull 5A and 10R and 10S, just real quickly.
I would like to approve the rest of the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, consent agenda item 3E, there is no action to be taken. Item 7A2, I'd like to make a correction. The dollar amount is $131,851.40 and not, is $131,719.40 and not $131,851.40. So the correct amount is $131,719.40.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And for the record, Commissioner Fuentes will abstain from any discussion and/or action pertaining to consent agenda item 9A.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. On 5A, on 5A, all I want to bring out is that we asked for $7,500 as a deposit. We're reimbursing $6,000 because they put in the 4 septic tanks. I just want to make sure that our policy is correct. We're leaving behind $1,500. Is that going to be sufficient to get it done?
Mr. Olivares. I saw Mr. Olivares in the audience earlier.
Okay, so I just want somebody to follow up to make sure
I
that
will follow up for you, Judge.
that number hasn't changed.
Okay.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve,
So
subject
moved.
to that?
Yes.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. On the next one, I believe it's 10R. Oh, on 10R, we have a contract with the engineers for that, and we're changing MPOs. Have you all talked to them about synchronizing those contracts?
No, I know there was going to be an agenda item for today. It got postponed till next week. We can discuss that before next week.
All right, so do we pass this or approve it? Or this is a pass bill?
It's just an invoice, I believe.
Right, this is an invoice, Judge.
Okay, but I just wanted to make sure that you all were
Yes,
thinking
sir.
about that.
Yes, sir.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Then the last one is on the legal services for employees. We seem only to give them 1 day, a 1 day opportunity when they enroll at the beginning. Why is that? I mean, we can't give a new employer coming in during the year to get those legal services that.
As you come in, you are given the opportunity. This is for re-enrollment of those that have existing. But any new employee is available. We have 2 per year.
Okay. But if someone decided in the early part of the year not to do it, then they have to wait a whole year to come back?
They have to wait till the next enrollment, yes, sir.
Okay. Is there a reason for that?
It's more of a problem of getting the time to take them away from their job. This is voluntary, and getting enough people to come in and do the enrollment. So we do have it twice a year.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. I think we're back to presentation of proclamation.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Julia Sullivan from Public Affairs, presenting on behalf of Hidalgo County Judge Richard F. Cortez. If you all could join me up here, and I think our district attorney's here, Mr. Rodriguez, if you'd like to join us, and any law enforcement officials who'd like to join us. Item 5A is a proclamation for National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims. Each year we honor those who we've lost to violence, and this year it's especially poignant because we just lost 2 of our peace officers as well. Whereas the National Parents of Murdered Children, POMC, established September 25th as National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims as a result of unanimously passed resolutions by the U.S. Senate on October 16, 2007, and the U.S. House of Representatives on May 14, 2007. And whereas POMC believes that honoring the memory of victims who've been killed by violence and acknowledging the resulting long-term trauma for families and communities in Texas and the nation is an essential way of promoting public awareness and remembering our loved ones. And whereas in 2018, there were an estimated 17,000 homicides nationwide, and over 170,000 close relatives were affected. The Rio Grande Valley experienced 42 murders, leaving behind 420 close relatives. And whereas survivors of homicide victims need specific and targeted intervention in the aftermath of a homicide, which starts with a death notification and goes far beyond the burial, and in some cases, a jury trial, leaving a lasting impact on any person, regardless of age, national origin, race, creed, religion, gender, sexual orientation, immigration status, or economic status. And whereas throughout the year, and particularly during the holidays, anniversaries, and birthdays, survivors of homicide victims experience overwhelming grief, isolation, and despair. Engaging a broader array of healthcare providers, community leaders, law enforcement agencies, faith organizations, educators, and businesses can provide new links and services that improve their safety, healing, and access to justice. And whereas citizens of Hidalgo County are encouraged to participate in the 7th Annual Candlelight Vigil, this year's theme is Together We Climb the Mountain to the Peak of Hope, to be held at the FAR Event Center located at 3000 North Cage in FAR from 6 to 9 p.m. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby proclaims September 25th, 2019 as National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims and Rio Grande families. Presented this 10th day of September 2019.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We're real sorry for your loss.
Joining us are the family members and also victim support group members and Robert Garcia, the CEO and founder of Parents of Murdered Children for the RGV chapter, will accept the proclamation and say a few words. Here you go, Mr. Hicks.
Judge, brother in Christ, members of the community, Commissioners Court, my family, liaisons, law enforcement, and the general public, thank you for coming and allowing us to say a few words. And if I am emotional, I am emotional because September 13, 2011 was the day that I got a call from my mom that my brother had been shot 3 times with a .357 Magnum while he was taking a shower. As I responded to the call in Harlingen, Texas, it reminded me that I saw my brother laying in a pool of blood. I was able to open the door while they were doing the crime scene, but it was a reaction, a human reaction that when they told me that he was laying down there, I crossed the tip line, which I shouldn't have, but it was just a reaction that we do. So that day I told my mom, which is going to be 8 years in the 2013 of this month, that my brother, who was a mentor of mine as well, not only a brother, that he didn't die in vain. And as my brother, my mom and my dad, 3rd grade education, attended some of the proceedings of law enforcement and communicating with law enforcement officials and the court, didn't understand what they were talking about, the legal perspective as they were going through it. And every time they went, they cried more instead of getting help, believe it or not. So the respect and dignified approach led me to create, number 1, keep my promise to my mom. Number 2, it was bigger than me. It was bigger than my brother. And number 3, there was a need for hope, healing, and justice, and seeking justice through the judicial system, but also giving dignified respect on my families. See, what happens is in law enforcement, which they do categorize it, not because of they want to, but they categorize child abuse victims, domestic violence victims, human trafficking victims, hate crime victims. And as they categorize that, they forget that we are human beings. We're not drug-related, gang-related, but human beings. We have had national mass shootings that is going on, and we get all right up and lively soul with respect to those families. I understand. But they're victims of a murder who made a choice, just like the murder cowards, the murder of families. So the challenge that I challenge the community and Commissioners Court, the judge, and law enforcement in general is what we called, and we wrote a promise kept, Mom, called the Voice Resolution. We have 13 I wills. And the I wills came from the Men of Courage film back in 5 years ago that I said, you know what, we need to come up with our own creed and our own voice. So when I said that promise, I do solemnly resolve before God to take full responsibility to become the voice of my loved one. I will be the voice to preserve and honor the loved one's memory and inform all survivors of homicide about their victims' rights. I will be the voice to transform my pain, my grief, and my anger into power and action. I will be the voice of the children who are left fatherless and motherless, and I will advocate for protection, justice, and their safety. I will be the voice to use the tragedy to tell stories of hope, to laugh and cry, not to be angry. I will be the voice that rejects path of retaliation and shameful and isolation. I will be the voice to teach lessons of hope, compassion, and violence prevention. I will be the voice of leadership and advocacy by promoting policy change on a local, state, and national level. I will be the voice that rejects ignorance. When people tells us that we're not real victims because our loved one is 6 feet under and you can't see one-on-one. But I tell them, look around, and they're right here with me. And I thank them every single day for giving me that courage to fight. I will, and I will be the voice. Courageously work through the strength of our Savior, Lord Jesus Christ, to fulfill this resolution. As long as I breathe, as I told my mom, and I told all my families, we will remember them through the glory of Lord Jesus Christ. So the challenge to you, where are you, Commissioners Court, family, friends, law enforcement, and community? Who will join us? Stand up and be the voice of our loved ones, September 25th, 2019, at the FAR Event Center. Will you join us? 8 years I've been coming to you, and I have not seen any commissioner or judge, aside from the sheriff's office and law enforcement and the DA's office, attend. So hopefully I will see you this September 25th. It's free of charge. I will take donations from the commissioners, but it's a free of charge. So on behalf of my families, the moms, the children, District Attorney's Office, law enforcement, and the community, I thank you for listening and allowing this opportunity to recognize this special day. Thank you and God bless.
Is somebody standing on the court? Can you get off the court? Excuse me. I don't want to hear.
You reminded me, though. That's good. Sorry.
Okay, next we have a proclamation declaring September Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes. Good morning again, Judge, Commissioners. Item 5B under County Judge Richard F. Cortez, his office, is a proclamation declaring September 2019 as National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas this month, Hidalgo County honors more than 400,000 survivors of childhood and adolescent cancers in the United States. And whereas, although the causes of childhood cancer are not completely understood, adult cancers are often linked to lifestyle or environmental factors, but cancer in children is different. It's different in ways because in a young person, cancer is less likely to be caused by the patient's lifestyle or environment. And whereas learning what genetic changes caused a cancer can help doctors diagnose it more effectively. Cancer is the leading cause of death by disease past infancy for U.S. children. About 11,060 children in the United States under the age of 15 will be diagnosed with cancer this year. And whereas treatment of childhood cancer is coordinated by a team of experts who know the differences between adult and childhood cancers, as well as the unique needs of children with cancer and their families. This team usually includes pediatric oncologists, pediatric surgeons, radiation oncologists, pediatric oncology nurses, and nurse practitioners, and physician assistants. And whereas the team can also include many professionals other than nurses and doctors, Children's Cancer Centers have psychologists, social workers, child life specialists, nutritionists, rehabilitation and physical therapists, and educators who can support and care for the entire family. And whereas sincerest gratitude is also expressed to those who work tirelessly to ensure that all children can live healthy, long, and productive lives. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby proclaims September as National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and recognizes the brave young children for their resilient spirit and immeasurable courage and happiness. Approve this 10th day of September 2019.
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And joining us to accept and say a few words is Mario Liscano, who's Administrator of Corporate Affairs at DHR.
Thank you so much, Honorable Judge, County Commissioners. We want to take this opportunity on behalf of our Board of Managers, our over 700 physicians, and over 5,000 employees, thanking you and giving us this opportunity to bring, of course, the information and awareness on this dreadful disease that affects our very special loved ones. With us, I'm being joined by our Advanced Care Center team members, along with some of our supporters. These ladies are the ones that work with our cancer patients' family members on a daily basis and not just today. Today we're here in front of you thanking you and your staff, of course, for not only today but also for the rest of the month participating in events that we'll be having around our city and our county to make sure that we ensure that we will not stop with this message. It was yesterday, and when we passed by our cancer center where our kids are at, where a small child holds on to his mom's hand and says that, you know, I know, Mom, I'm going to be okay. I know this medicine's going to hurt and feel bad, but I want to be better. Our kids are stronger than our parents. Our kids strive so that our parents, our moms and dads, don't feel the pain. In seeing them with no hair, seeing our kids at our wings, you understand why we're here today. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank also our healthcare providers for what they do. But today we want to honor our kids, not only those kids that have been stricken, but also our kids that have survived. We do have survival kids. So thank you so much, and may you have a blessed month.
Thank you. Thank you, Marion, and all, for all the work that you all do. Absolutely. It must be a tough job to be around women all the time, Marion. But, I'm glad you're doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead from here when you do like this. Go ahead, sir.
Paul Matt.
Picture time. Picture. Yeah, look at the picture.
Thank you.
Okay, item 6A, District Attorney's Office.
Here. Good morning, Commissioners. Judge Rosalinda Cantu presenting for the District Attorney's Office. Item 6A, the DA's Border Prosecution Unit Grant, Fund 1281. We're asking for approval to accept the Region 3 Border Prosecution Unit Grant in the amount of $574,359, effective September 1st, 2019 through August 31st, 2020.
Do you want to go to 2?
We're also asking for the approval of the certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for fiscal year 2019 and the appropriation of the same.
Move for approval on 6A, 1 and 2.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And here to talk about a little of, for the Border Prosecution Grant is Assistant District Attorney Kelly McCormick.
Judge, Commissioners, thank you for accepting of this grant award. This is the 11th year that Hidalgo County has been a beneficiary of this grant coming out of the Texas Governor's Office, primarily to the largesse of the Texas Legislature and the Texas Governor's Office. We've gone from an initial grant of $105,000 per fiscal year to what you see before you today, a little over almost $575,000. 5 employees, full-time employees with the District Attorney's Office, working closely with area, local, and state law enforcement and federal law enforcement in the development of large-scale criminal investigations. Because of this grant, we actually can reveal this now. It's public record. We did here in Hidalgo County the first state wiretap. Because of this grant, we were able to do that and took down a very large drug trafficking operation. We've also trained hundreds of police officers in the last year on local, on current trends on the law. And thank you all so much for your consideration and your continued support of this grant. It has been a very valuable tool with the District Attorney's Office. And if y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Okay. I think we're supposed to remove amended 2 because there's no amendment to the, is that correct?
That's item B.
On the first one, it says approval of amendments to the interlocal agreement.
Oh, okay, that's item 6B. We just presented item 6A.
I'm sorry, that's correct. May I have, go ahead.
Item 6B, District Attorney, TTBH Fund 1281, discussion, consideration, and approval of interlocal agreement between Tropical Texas Behavioral Health and Hidalgo County by and through the Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office. And yes, for clarification purposes, we will be removing the word amendment.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2, the authorization for county judge as authorized official to sign the amendment to the interlocal agreement award and related documents, as well as the certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor in the amount of $25,000 and the appropriation of the same.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And number 4 is the request for authorization to decrease the supplemental pay allowance for the following employee, effective October 1st, 2019. We are reducing the supplemental pay amount to $19,435.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Chief Herrera with the Sheriff's Office. 7A, approval of the Sheriff and Constable's fee schedule for fiscal year 2020. We would like to take no action on this one at this time.
Okay.
7B, Sheriff's Office LBSP fiscal year 20, 1284. Do you want me to run through all 4 of them or
Please,
one at a time?
yes, please.
Okay. Number 1, authorization and approval to accept the local border security program LBSP fiscal year 20 grant in the amount of $2,333,000. 2, authorization for the county judge as authorized official to electronically sign grant award form and related documents. 3, authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions. And 4, approval of the certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the local border security program fiscal year 20, LBSP 20, in the amount of $233,000 and appropriation of the same.
Move for approval on 7B, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Martin Blanco, on behalf of Council Avila. One item, 8A, Local Border Security Program 1284. Number 1, authorization to accept the statement of grant award in reference to a Local Border Security Program fiscal year 2020 in the amount of $35,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
Number 2, authorization and approval for county judge as authorized official to electronically accept grant award form and related documents.
Go ahead, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions. And number 4, approval of certification revenues as certified by the county auditor for the fiscal year 20, Local Border Security Program grant amount of $35,000 and appropriation of the same.
Okay, I have motions for
Approval on 8A, 2, 3, 4.
Second.
Okay, we didn't take a vote on 1, so.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. 9A.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioner. Deputy Dixie Lopez with Hidalgo County Precinct 2. I have 4 items to present today. We have authorization to accept the statement of grant award in reference to Local Border Security Program fiscal year 20 in the amount of $35,000. Number 2, authorization and approval for county judge and authorized official to electronically accept grant award from and related documents. 3, authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under grant term and conditions. And 4, approval of certification of revenues as certified by county auditor for fiscal year 20 Local Border Security Program grant in the amount of $35,000 and appropriation of the same.
Move for approval on 9A, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Chief Deputy Gonzalez for Precinct 3 Constable's Office. Today on item A, we have no action on that.
Okay.
Item B, Local Security Border Program. Authorization to accept the statement of grant award in reference to Local Border Security Program for year 20 in the amount of $95,000.
You want to go to 2, 3, and 4?
All right. Authorization and approval for the county judge as authorized official to electronically accept grant award forms and related documents. Number 3, authorization to pay overtime reimbursement under grant terms and conditions. Number 4, approval of certification of revenue as certified by the county auditor for year 20, local border security program grant in the amount of $95,000 and appropriation of the same.
Move for approval.
We have a motion to approve 10B, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Judge, thank you. Commissioners?
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Javier Rodriguez for Precinct 4 Constables. Item 11A, 1 through 4, authorization to accept a grant award in reference to the Local Border Security Program fiscal year 2020 for the amount of $72,500 from the Texas Department of Public Safety, Texas Homeland Security State Administrative Agency for the period of September 1st, 2019 to August 31st, 2020. Number 2, authorization and approval for county judge as authorized official to electronically accept grant award form and related documents. 3, authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions. And 4, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the Local Border Security Program fiscal year 2020 grant in the amount of $72,500 and appropriation of same.
For approval on 11A, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Judge, Commissioners, with the permission, I'm asking the court to recess Commissioners Court and open the 11 a.m. budget workshop and then recess the budget workshop and come back to Commissioners Court in compliance with the Open Meetings Act as to our posting.
We have a motion to recess the County Commissioners Court.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Armin Garza, Precinct 3. We have item 19A, requesting approval to accept counteroffer to make purchase of tract land known as parcel number 30 associated with mile 3 north from Tom Gill Goodwin Road, with authority from County Judge to sign the administrative evaluation approval form.
Approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 28 is approval of the salary schedule changes as per Exhibit A in accordance with the Hidalgo County Classification and Compensation Pay Plan.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 20B is approval of correction to the 2019 adopted salary schedule effective January 1st, 2019. And this is for grant position of Victims Assistance Coordinator 2. It's just a change in funding source. The
So
other
for
one.
approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 20C is approval of clarification to agenda item 71989, which was approved last week. This is to correct the effective date for the change of funding sources from September 2nd, 2019 to September 1st, 2019.
Move for
This is
approval.
also for a grant.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 20D is approval of 2019 appropriation of general fund new source revenue certified by the county auditor in the amount of $986,107.94.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 20D2 is requesting approval of the certification of revenues certified by the county auditor in the amount of $1,253.83 and appropriation of the same. This is for an insurance settlement claim.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Mr.
Can I have-
Cruz?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cruz. Judge, Commissioners, we do have a public participation form for item 20D3 from Ms. McClarity with respect to the court reporter fund.
Yes, we would like to you to explain. They just recently got, I think they're getting paid like $100,000 right now.
98,000.
Close to 100,000. It's very, very close. And now you're coming up with another 31,665.18. We know that they have no offices. They use all the equipment that the court has. They have no expenses. So we were just asking what this is for, this more money again. We'd just like to know what's spent on. Thank you.
Judge Commissioners, these are usually for court transcripts that are requested on the cases that have been tried either at the county court level or district court level and get taken for appeal. So basically, we need those for appeal purposes.
Well, these are for indigent people that we're
Correct.
required to pay.
That is correct.
For the costs that they can't for their defense and et cetera.
Yes.
Yeah, I looked into it too, Brian. But that's what that is.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners.
Okay, item 21A1, Purchasing Department, countywide. This is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code Section 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item B is pursuant to demonstrated competence, action to approve a memorandum of agreement between Hidalgo County and Research Applied Technology Education and Services, RGV, also known as RATES RGV, a 501c organization in accordance with Texas Local Government Code 2254 in connection with the Lower Rio Grande Valley, Texas Stormwater Task Force assistance commencing with precincts 1 and 4. This is subject to funding. There's an amount for each one that you're going to share, $10,000 for each precinct.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
There was a note on clarifying the selection of a representative. I would believe that both precincts are will be the representatives to the.
Right, so in the past it was
agreement.
just precinct 1, I think.
Now it's precinct 4 and 1.
Precinct 4, so I think both of us would.
Right, but it's going to be yes, they're going to share.
Yeah,
because they're sharing the cost also.
Right, so we've been on the task force for the last few years, and we've been
Right.
working with UTRGV and Lower
Exactly,
Rio
that's how
Grande
it
Valley
began.
Development Council. We work a lot in coordination with Cameron County and Willacy County to work on, regional solutions with respect to drainage. So this is just a continuation of that
original
partnership, and through that committee that we are now both a part of.
Correct.
So we'll continue to move forward to try to find funding and solutions for different parts of stormwater
The
drainage.
stormwater, yes, sir.
Ms. Salazar, before, I do have a public participation form from Ms. Fern with respect to 21B1, B1, right, which is the x-rays.
Yeah, we were just asking, I tried to look up the backup on it. Who is it, what department, where are they going? I had a call on this, and I said, well, I would ask and see if we could find out. That's $53,000, so.
Right.
That's what we're asking.
So the end user department is the sheriff's department. It is for the courthouse security. And this has been an ongoing project since late last year. And this is again for security at the courthouse.
Going on to, that's B1. This is requesting approval to purchase those 5 items through our county's participation in both the TexMass awarded vendors, which is W.W. Granger, $53,115.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
C1, Precinct 2, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I believe the judge, you can abstain.
I'm abstaining. There's
Conflict,
a conflict with one of the people.
Motion passes.
Item B is acceptance and approval of the letter of engagement with Ramon Worthington Law Firm in connection with legal matters subject to legal's review and compliance with HD requirement submittals. It isn't part of the upload onto the agenda, as the DA's office has advised us that it can be viewed after, but it is not part. It's the attorney-client privilege.
The judge will abstain. So we got a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously with the judge's abstention.
Item C2 is approval to rescind the action previously taken by Commissioners Court on August 13th on item 71-695. This is related to item B. So we're going to rescind that action first.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item B is approval to purchase two 2019 Peterbilt 348 roll-off trucks through the county's participation through the Purchasing Co-op of America. That is in a total of $320,556.92.
Move approval. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
D1 for Precinct 4, approval to purchase street sweeper through county's membership participation with HGAC Cooperative Purchasing Program. The contract, as stated on the agenda, awarded through Texas Waste Equipment. That is a total of $266,200.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2 is requesting exemption, competitive bidding requirements, 262-024. A4, a professional service.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item B is presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking of those nominated firms for professional engineering services for the design and construction of phase services for the Lynn San Manuel Veterans Park. That those three were South Texas Infrastructure, 92.5, Strata Engineering Consulting, 90.5, and SDI Engineering, 97. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item C is authority for purchasing department to negotiate a professional engineering agreement, project-specific design and construction of that park, commencing with the number one ranked firm of SDI Engineering LLC.
I have such a motion.
First. So move. Move for approval.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
We have under Budget and Management, number 1A. This is approval of the final procurement packet for the consulting services of self-funded group Health Hidalgo County with authority to re-advertise if necessary. The reason I'm placing something in front of you is because the packet includes the first part that you see is the scoring and evaluation sheet that's attached. We uploaded late the second one, which is I put as option B. It's a different configuration on your evaluation, which includes a presentation, points for presentation, I believe 25. I need to know which one you wish us to use so that we can move on with this project, advertise it, and start distributing. I believe, as I said, the most significant difference is, and it is permitted, there is language in your RFP itself that says the court may request presentations. So this is taking that option into account and giving you a scoring sheet that includes presentations, which the first one does not.
Kind of wish we had gotten this a little sooner, so we
It
could,
was,
like,
it
go
was,
through
it was provided to us a little bit late, so.
Well, I'm looking at a lot of things, but I'm looking basically at two important things. One is it requires special skills because it's
Definitely, yes.
special skills. And
A lot of experience.
And then two, I want to make sure that we cleanse any conflicts of interest or that they would have, with anybody associated with this. So where does that come in?
In the body of your RFP, this is the body of the RFP is not in question. That has been, well, I've had input from two sources from the courts. I have sent out 3 notices for participation. We've had 2 participate and give us some feedback. So the Exhibit A part, there's sufficient language in there to extract that in their response.
in there, okay.
Now, it's the grading and evaluation criteria. Let me bring something to your attention. If you take the original one, you can still ask for presentations, although there won't be any points associated with it. In the option B, the presentation is being given a value of 25 points. You can always have presentations, you can extract information from them, subject to what was submitted in their proposal, correct? You can still ask those pointed questions on any conflicts, but there's no points for it.
Well, I want to spend a little time here because this is a big ticket item.
Yes.
And I need to learn a lot about what we're doing because I'm very,
Okay.
I mean, I like knowledge. But I think we start with a plan. We have a plan, right, for our employees? So
Yes.
There's a plan. We're
Yes.
looking for a consultant.
A consultant,
Okay.
yes.
So we have a plan. So we will want expertise with our consultant knowing about the plan itself.
Group health plans, yes, sir.
Okay, so that'll be one thing. Then we're going to go after an insurer to insure some of our claims.
Correct.
Correct. So we need somebody
A TPA, yes.
that knows how to do that. Then we use pharmacy. We have a pharmacy portion of it.
Correct.
So we need somebody that's got those 3 skills.
That knowledge, experience, and expertise.
Yeah. So do you think that what you're proposing here, that we can evaluate that through the criteria that you put here?
I liked our first one, of the option B. The significant difference, as I tell you, is that we're attributing now 25 points for the presentation, where in the one that I proposed first does not. But that doesn't mean you can't have presentations. There won't be any points associated with it. It'll be points associated with what's the content of the scope of work, experience, and expertise that they have.
I'm not sure why we would put any points in presentation. I mean, that's just a sales pitch to me. I'm looking for quality of work. I'm looking for prior experience. I'm looking for depth of
Correct.
knowledge with respect to self-funded plans.
Exactly.
There's a very unique insurance program that, I mean, voluntary products are pretty straightforward. I mean, you got to
Yes.
be able to compare apples to apples and such. But, you know, from my standpoint, we want to try to get as much coverage as possible with as limited exposure as possible. And a self-funded plan, that's very complicated.
Correct.
So I'm not looking to assign any points to
Any value
presentation.
to this.
But with respect to the way of the outline that you have on option B, I like everything else. I just don't like the points associated to presentations.
Okay.
So if we could somehow use that, because I think it goes into more depth as far as experience, conflicts.
Which one? The original option A?
Option B.
B.
Because the way you have the firm overview, you know, that's pretty basic. Firm experience, 30 points. Firm qualifications, 30 points. You have 60 points associated to the actual depth of knowledge that they have with respect to the plans. 10 points for references, I get that, but the presentation part, I just don't. I think that can be distributed to something completely different. I think it's more comprehensive than what you have for Exhibit B and Option A.
All right.
Because Option A, it's pretty.
Okay.
It's
so
pretty. It doesn't have a lot of depth in it. I like the Option B. I just don't like the presentation points.
Okay. Well, how about if we switch some of those to the responsiveness to the RFP itself? Attribute some points to that?
I think that if maybe you took the implementation plan from Option A.
And insert it
and
into the,
incorporate those points instead of presentations.
Okay.
I think now you've covered knowledge, you've covered experience, and now
And
you're
how it's gonna be
covering
done.
execution.
Okay.
I think if you do those three things, then I think you've kind of covered your basis as
All right.
far as how they're going to implement their knowledge base and experience to help us develop a better plan, a more
Right.
comprehensive plan for the costs that they're proposing. I think that makes more sense to me.
all right, I'm glad for the input, then that's the provision I'm gonna make.
That,
I'm gonna-
well, no,
I mean, if that's,
I'm just
if
voicing
that's
my
the
opinion.
choice of the court, we will remove the presentations, because I do want to reiterate, you can have presentations, you just don't have to give points to it. You still have that option to have them come before you. So we would, if the court agrees, remove the presentation 25 and include implementation instead.
So removing the points from
Correct.
presentation.
Yes, but I do appreciate the presentation because the Q&A is really an
Oh, yeah.
important part of it to get, clarification on,
Right.
how they approach doing their job and what their experiences are like. I think that is an important
Aspect.
part of it.
Sure.
But I don't want to assign
Attribute
points to that.
it. That's fine, and like I say, the RFP calls for that. You have the option to call for presentations in any way, in any case. So is that the wishes of the court, so I can put this to bed?
I'm fine.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, could I have a vote?
I think I move to approve subject to those changes, incorporating those
Yes, sir.
25 points to
Second.
something else.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
The second one would be to already, to assign the committee for the evaluation,
My chief.
the chiefs. Shall we go that way?
Yes.
All chiefs. If I can have action on that, please.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2 is authority to advertise and approval of the draft procurement packet, which is already included for the claims administration services for workers' compensation for Hidalgo County.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And on B, this is requesting action and selection of the grid. Do you wish to proceed with the chiefs again?
Yes, for me, yes.
And include maybe benefits? If you wish to, or the chiefs?
Chiefs is fine with me.
Everybody okay with chiefs?
Move for approval with
Okay.
chiefs.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you very much.
May I have a drum roll for
I know.
open forum?
We do have one participant. I will remind the audience to please respect the speaker's time at the podium. There is a 3-minute time limit. I will advise when there is 1 minute. Our presenter is Ms. Fern McClarity.
Yes, it's a freezer in here again. What we're requesting is that the county have a no refusal 365. I believe we have one just for holidays. And this would be, if you have a wreck or get in trouble in your DWI, you cannot refuse a breathalyzer or a blood test. Cameron County has already implemented this 365. So we're requesting that y'all do it also for the safety of the public. 2, I see our DA's office is sitting here today. We're used to paying an attorney firm over $600,000 to sit there. So we're already paying the DA's office, and they're already the county's attorney. So we're asking that you have the DA be the court's attorney and see if we can save money there because they're already our county attorney. And I am here today to remind the Commissioners Court members and that the voters want a 1 cent rate reduction from the 58 cents to 57 cents. The member of this commission and also members of the Drainage District Board, you have authorized the sale of $418.6 million in bonds, primarily on the idea that it's cheaper if we do it now. And is it true that based on the information provided by the financial consultants, the sale of these bonds will increase the tax rate by 10 cents? Just in case you're interested, based on 3% interest for 30 years, the sale of these bonds will cost the residents of Hidalgo County $635.4 million. There are two important factors here. These are all public sector jobs and will add to the need for more taxes. The jobs created will be 3 to 5 years, while the debt will be for 30 years. What is the most concerning to me is that each of you are longtime residents of Hidalgo County, and you know how poor we are. So what we're asking for is reducing the tax rate by 1 cent instead of contracting for a tax collection service, delinquent tax, that you do it ourselves. That will save money and save on the people. Travis County already does this. Adopt a balanced budget with a mid-year adjustment, and but no increase, and the staff is getting larger because that's where the majority of your budget is. So follow the step and grade, and stop having, we don't understand why you have waivers each week on the HR comes in and says, oh, first thing, we want a waiver. Why do we want a waiver? I thought we were doing step and grade. Thank you.
Thank you. Judge, Commissioners, we do have closed session. And Judge, for the record, I didn't state it earlier, but for the record, Commissioner Torres did abstain from any discussion and or action with respect to agenda item 14C AI 72144.
Okay, pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code and Sections 551.071 and 551.072, we will be retiring to closed session to discuss items.
So moved.
Any action items to be taken will be taken in open session. May I have a motion to go to closed session? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. To the session. Joseph.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners, under
Where's our lawyer?
he's right. He's standing right there in front.
Come on, get in the camera over here, Richard. Right. Are there any action items?
Judge, under open session, well, for the record, 25A, real estate acquisition appropriation for saying there's no action to be taken. 25B, pending and or potential litigation, there's no action to be taken. 25C, deliberation regarding the following economic development negotiations pursuant to Chapter 551, Texas Government Code, Section 551.087, Project Green, will proceed as directed. 25D, claim regarding Rochester Armored Car Company, Inc., there is no action to be taken today. For the record, under 24A and B, there is no action to be taken. And there is no need for 26 or 27, and so we have adjournment.
Okay, I believe that concludes our agenda items. I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 12A. Drum roll for our county tax assessor collector, the guy that brings all the money.
Thank you, Judge. Judge and Commissioners, I'm excited to make this presentation of the annual tax report, but I want to bring my staff over here. Everybody that supervisors come over here for you. It wouldn't be fair for me to just say how much we collected throughout the year without letting them know that all the monies went through their offices. So I want to make sure that at the end, once I make the presentation, I'll like for them to introduce themselves and tell them from which office they're at. Okay, we're going to go through the second one, Edgar. Right here on the Hidalgo County Annual Tax Report, July 1st, 2018 through June 30th of 2019. Tax collections for the current, delinquent, and rollback totals. This year to the Hidalgo County Tax Office for the county, the total collected was $209,326,330.75. Under other revenue totals, we had $109,161,991.26 for a total collected through our office of $318,488,322.01. We go to the next page. This also is the disbursements of the total recap of $318,488,322.01. Go to the next one, Edgar. This one here, this is where we, if you look at the middle where it's current collections to date, just base them out. Last year we had $183 million, $546,397.83. This year we collected $191,759,363.46. We collected $8.2 million above last year's collections. So I'm very proud of that, and I want to thank my staff here for everything they do. We have 8 offices throughout the county, so every taxpayer goes out there to their office, whether it be tax or motor vehicles, so the money's they're being collected by them and their staff. Last year's percentage of collections was 94.41. This year's 94.44 out of 100%. I think it's a great effort from the. Also, I want to thank the taxpayers because we work with them very closely. We always work with them. Normally, we send out tax statements on November 1st. They have up to January 31st to pay their taxes. After February 1st, that's the hardest part. Some of them could come in. Some of them might say, you know what, I don't get tax statements. They might forget, but we don't let them forget because it's important for the county to have the revenue so we can provide the services. So on January of that month, anybody that has not paid their taxes as of January 31st, we send them a reminder. We send the top taxpayers, whether it be $3,000, $5,000. We send on February. We also send a reminder to them, top taxpayers for the county and every entity that we collect for. In March, we do the same. In April, we do the top taxpayers, making sure that the top taxpayers need to come in and pay. The May resolution is sent out by the delinquent tax attorneys. By law, the attorneys have to send the May resolution advising the taxpayer that if they don't pay their taxes by June 30th, July 1st, that 15% attorney fee will be attached. So it's very important at the same. And in June, before July 1st, we do another top taxpayers. So those are the things that we do from February 1st to June 30th. We do a press release. I get interviews from Telemundo, Univision, Channel 4, Channel 5, Televisa, Radio Talk, TV shows. I go out there and try to remind our taxpayers that to try to see at least that they can pay by June 30th before the July 1st, 15% attorney fees. So if you go to the next chart, Edgar. Right here we have a 5-year comparison, 2014 through 2018. In 2014 we had 93.98%, 15 94.09, 93.94, 94.41, and for 2018 94.44% out of 100%. So I'm excited about what we do in our office, and like I said, I'm going to go ahead and have every supervisor introduce themselves and from which office they're here for. So this pretty much completes the report for the county.
Paul, before we do that, how many other organizations or governments do you collect taxes for?
Okay. In Hidalgo County, there's 44 taxable entities. Out of the 44, we collect for 42 of them. The only ones that we don't collect are for the city of Donna and city of McAllen. They do their own. In the future, they're interested. We're here to help them out. When we consolidate, for example, city of Edinburgh's included in one tax statement. The school district's included in the county, so it's just one taxpayer coming to us, and so that's important too. But 42 entities we collect in our office.
And are we being properly compensated for that service that you provide?
I believe that the services that I'm providing to the other entities, I believe we need to sit down, Mr. Valde. I think we visited on trying to come up with something different because we do bring in about 1.8 million aside from those entities, but
billion.
No, 1.8 million. From the entities that we were servicing.
In terms of fees.
Yes, but the overall collections through our office is 1.1 billion that goes through our offices for cities, counties, and schools.
I think you need to look at that, Valde,
Right, we'll look
to
at
make sure.
Right, for the formula.
Probably more.
Because that's a lot of responsibility for
definitely,
us.
and Anything helps our county. So pretty much, I'm going to thank you for those questions. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Norma Ochoa. I am the supervisor at the Mission Palmview office. Commissioner Flores at Precinct 3.
How long have you been there?
God willing, January 15th will be 40 years.
We didn't hire people when they were 10 years old.
Good morning. My name is Mary Alvarado. I'm the supervisor for the Edinburgh office, Precinct 4. 18 and a half years.
Good morning, all. My name is Erlinda Lara Jaime. I am from the San Juan office, Precinct 2. I've been there 15 years.
Good morning, everyone. Christy Torres for the McAllen substation, and I've been with the county for 18 years. Precinct 2.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Garete from the Elsa substation, Precinct 5. I've been with the county 5.5 years.
Good morning. My name is Lucy Flores. I am from the Huasteco substation, Precinct 1, and I've been with the county for 12 years.
My name is Santos Castilleja. I'm the motor vehicle manager here at the Edinburgh office, and I've been with the county 20 years.
Good morning, Julio Espinosa, property tax manager here in Edinburgh office. Been with the county for about 16 years, at the tax office about 8 years.
Okay, and I know that we missed Joel, but that's from the FAR office. He couldn't make it, but he's from FAR office. Edgar Jaramillo, my assistant there too, and my chief deputy Eva Mires couldn't make it here, but this is the team. You know, we have 160 employees. This is the team that's every day out there trying to do customer service for our taxpayers, whether it be motor vehicle and tax. So this is the tax portion. We're going to go into the next one, which is the motor vehicle, because they're cross-trained. So any office that you go out there, there's motor vehicle services and there's tax services. So Mr. Castilleja will be telling us more or less how big the county is in motor vehicle too, as far as how many vehicles are out there, how much we collect. So, but for the county portion, thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioner. Santos Castilleja, motor vehicle manager. Let's see, we have a statement of revenue collections. These collections are from the different motor vehicle title services the tax office provides. Some of you have listened to this presentation in the past. For others, feel free to ask questions. These transactions include initial registration, which is the majority vehicle title transfers. These are a large amount of dealer transactions that charge tax, title, and license. We also have registration renewals, which are our most common service. We have disabled plaque cards, temporary permits, exempt registrations, specialty plates. Those are some of the examples of the services we provide in our office. The next slide shows that there was 774,135 different types of transactions recorded in 2018, bringing in $175,208,789.85. In 2019, from January through June, we've already recorded 420,007 transactions that brought in $95,646,253.75. The next slide is an example of the cost breakdown for each renewal. The fee for the average passenger vehicle has not changed. It is still $84. 15% of that amount stays with the county, 12% gets transferred to the RMA, while 73% is sent to the state. The fee for a title is $28. I believe it's the same slide. 18% of that goes to the county, which is $5 for each of those titles that are processed. Truck renewals, next slide. Continue to cost $87.25. Processing your renewal online will save the customer $1. I think it's the next slide on there. But that amount reduces the county commission from the processing and handling fee. Renewals processed at our full-service deputy will come out to $93 because of the additional convenience fee of $9. Full-service deputies keep $1 of the processing and handling fee. Title transactions processed at the full-service deputy locations will cost $48. There is an allowable $20 convenience fee for each of those transactions. Registrations processed by our dealer deputies locations is $94. Dealer deputies are entitled to $10 convenience fee, but do not keep any other portion of the processing and handling fee. The title fee continues to be $28 processed through the dealer deputy. Renewals processed at our limited deputy locations, including HEB, Fred Loya, Guzman Insurance, and B&B Insurance, cost $84 as well. They are entitled to $1 of the processing and handling fee. Go ahead. Okay, the next slide is a breakdown of our revenue collections. Total collections for Road and Bridge in 2018 came out to $6,226,580. The net registration commissions, including Road and Bridge, was $13,444,536.17. An additional $973,835 was collected from title commissions. This is 194,767 titles processed at our office. Miscellaneous collections, including beer and wine collection commissions, totaled $236,070.25. NSF charge fees were $5,347, and city scofflaw fees brought in $171,953.22. Title service fees generated $4,000. Our bank account earned interest in 2018, pretty large amount, but a substantial amount of that belongs to the state and will need to be transferred to them. Total county collections is about 149 million. I'm sorry. Total county collections is about $14.9 million. Adding the RMA collections of $6.2 million brings the total county collections to $21,184,166.08. Next slide, I believe. An additional $154 million was collected for the great state of Texas. The majority of that was sales tax, totaling $105,756,741.15. The state inspection fee totaled $4,802,910. The total amount collected at the motor vehicle office was $175.7 million. We had, I think the next slide. Okay, the next one, sir. Okay, I believe we've gone through that as well. The next one will be that one. Yes. We had 620,957 vehicles registered in Hidalgo County in 2018, and this steadily continues to increase. I believe that concludes the presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you very much. It was very informative.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Castilleja. If we have 620,000 registered vehicles, that means if you divide that by 12, it's about 50,000 plus per month in our offices. So this is why I dedicate this annual report to our supervisors, our staff, and so I'm very happy with everything we do for our taxpayers. And the next one, I think we'll thank you. We never take a picture when we come, so now we're going to get a shot at that one. So that's exciting. The next discussion and consideration and action regarding implementation of new and updated motor vehicle tax forms. I'll have Mr. Castilleja go over that. And of course, by statute, the tax collector oversees motor vehicle and tax. But I also have a fraud department that I'm going to also introduce some of the investigators that we have, plus also I'll let you know that some of the other state agencies are also supporting us on this form. So
Morning, County Judge and board members. My name is Cesar Solis. I'm a fraud investigator with the Hidalgo County Tax Office. I've been there for the past 10 years, and my overall experience in law enforcement is 36 years.
Great, Evan.
Hello, my name is Nancy Hernandez. I've been with the fraud department for 5 months. Overall experience, 2 years.
Hello, good morning. My name is Marlene Trevino. I've been with the fraud department for 8 years.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Eli Garcia. I've been with the fraud department for 6 months, and my overall experience is 5.5 years.
We'd like to go ahead and present item 12B, discussion, consideration, action regarding implementation of new and updated motor vehicle tax forms. I just have a quick summary here. Our office, with legal approval from our district attorney's office, would like to update and add 4 motor vehicle forms to the list of official Hidalgo County forms. We have taken recommendations from customers, other county officials, and law enforcement when editing some of our frequently used motor vehicle forms. These forms are imperative in obtaining information that assists law enforcement and are very important because they prevent the potential loss of revenue for the County of Hidalgo and the state of Texas. They also prevent deceptive trade practices that result in fraudulent transfers to innocent consumers. The information can help law enforcement prosecute individuals who submit inaccurate documentation. Each form warns the individual that Texas Transportation Code Section 501.155 provides a penalty for persons who knowingly provide false or incorrect information or who, without legal authority, sign the name of another person on documents related to titles and other documents necessary to transfer ownership of a motor vehicle. An offense under this section is a felony of the 3rd degree. The forms are as follows: the Hidalgo County Affidavit of Fact, HC 001, Form HC 002, Hidalgo County Letter of Authorization, Form TS10, Affidavit of Non-Motor Vehicle Title Service License Holder, and Form HC 007, Hidalgo County, Texas Residency Affidavit. All of these forms are essential in the prevention of fraud and scenarios that may result in the loss of revenue for Hidalgo County and the state of Texas. Our office would greatly appreciate support from the court for the need of these forms as we inform the public of these changes.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, Judge, thank you so much. I know you have a full agenda, but this forms that we're implementing, it's it helps law enforcement, our department, and also any other law enforcement out there, will be a city, will be a county, will be a DPS or federal. The purpose of this, normally when somebody comes into our office, it could be 2 owners on the vehicle, husband and wife, husband or 2 people. And when they come to our office, normally they want to renew it for somebody else. We need to make sure that we're responsible to make sure that we protect the ownership of that other person. And with this forms, what they're going to have to do is get the authorization from that person to come over and renew that license plate. So that's what we're trying to do. Some people, sometimes they take, instead of being a dealer having a license, they turn around and try to use this authorization form to come in and get this renewal for somebody else. Maybe that person is getting paid for that. So we're trying to make sure that we protect the I guess what I would say the ownership of the other person. Where if you go to I'll give an example. If you go to Social Security, you can't go get information for me. So the same thing here. It's something that is private, and we want to make sure the person is coming in for that other person has authorization from that person. So thank you for your support.
We appreciate that work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob. Sure.
Or that pattern carpet, so that the commissioners
Smile. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Lucy. Good job, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Good job, thank you. Okay.
This is good.
If you ever need to take a break, do that there. If you ever need to go back.
Okay. I'm gonna have a conflict, on, purchasing. Sophia Ramon is married to my cousin, so I have,
Okay.
that's yours.
Oh, I got you.
That's yours on the precinct
Yeah.
two. Okay, Valde, I believe you're next.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners, 13A, 1 and 2, and 13B, there'll be no action today. 13C, there is a request by the Museum of South Texas History to use one of our parking lots near the museum for visitor parking for the open house event to be held Saturday, September 14th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Well, before we go on 13B, be sure we have a system how to follow up on collecting that.
Oh, yes, no, that's right, the formula, yes,
Yeah.
most definitely. 13D, approval, I'm asking the court to accept a settlement check from Progressive Insurance Company in the amount of $2,318.50. This will settle an auto accident claim with one of our county vehicles.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Silviero, God, he looks fit. Man.
Solid. No, he feels it. He looks refreshed.
Golly. Maybe 5 o'clock in the morning ain't that bad.
If they're getting up that early, you don't have time to eat. Well, you have to get up at 4. No cereal.
They're a gang, man.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Raul Silguero, Human Resources. Item 14A. First, we're requesting a waiver of the budget amendment policy for personnel-related amendments, if applicable, personnel items that are listed below.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 14B for the tax office. Judge Commissioners, last year you approved 6 positions for their call center. They're temporary positions. They only work from October through March. So they're asking to fill them again for effective March, and this is during the busy tax season. So they're asking approval to create 6 full-time temporary positions effective 10/1/2019 through 12/31. We'll come back in January for the other 3 years for next fiscal year. And those are for the positions that are listed. Those are new positions, temporary slots 218 through 223, clerk 1s, subject to funding by the budget office. It's pending, so we do need approval.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item C for the district attorney's office. These are 2 positions. They're deleting 1 attorney, district attorney 4, and creating a 3. This is a lower grade. You have 3 slots numbers because they're paid from 3 different accounts, but there's deleting one position, the 4, and creating a 3, asking approval for that.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2 and 3 are from for the compensation plan, the discretionary step policy. They're asking approval to award discretionary step 3 to employee hire on the slot 0169. It's an ADA 3. They're asking approval to give them a discretionary step 3. And the second one is an ADA 3 also, slot number 0045, and they're asking for a discretionary step 2 for that. So there's 2 employees, 2 new employees, 2 new hires, and in accordance with the Section 8.03 of the classification plan.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep up the hard work.
Morning, Judge Commissioners.
Good morning.
Our first item is requesting that we conduct a public hearing to consider public comments on the Hidalgo County's Urban County Program 2018 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, also known as the CAPER, prior to our submission to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Okay, I hereby call a public hearing to consider your public comments regarding the Hidalgo County Urban County Programs 2018 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. Anyone here would like to address this?
If I may, Judge, I'd like to advise the public that the County of Hidalgo, through its Urban County Program, spent $7,156,946.31 for the eligible projects identified through the Consolidated Planning and Strategy document. A total of $4,929,438.49 were spent on projects identified as public facilities and improvements, which included parks, flood drainage improvements, water sewer improvements, street improvements, and fire station equipment. The majority of the funds were spent for street improvements, which was $2,867,505.27. A total of $648,838.37 was spent on public services, which consists of funding to agencies such as Camp University, Open Hands, Easter Seals, Lower Rio Grande Development, Valley Metro, Mujeres Unidas, Nuestra Clínica, Children's Advocacy Center, the RGB Food Bank, Boys and Girls Clubs, also identified as youth services, the Hidalgo Youth Center, Amigos del Valle, El Milagro Clinic, CASA, and Hope Family and Health. So that is our report that will be submitted to HUD. As I indicated, a total of $7,156,946.31 was expensed throughout the year.
Was anybody here to address us regarding this public hearing? If not, the public hearing is now closed.
No action will be required, Judge, as this is the document that's
Okay.
of actual expenses.
Okay.
If I might proceed to item.
Yes.
Okay. It's also to conduct a public hearing to consider public comments for the Urban County Programs proposed substantial amendment for the 5-year consolidated plans, which were for 2013 to 2017 and 2018 to 2022. These include also the 2016, 2017, and 2018 one-year action plans.
I call the public hearing to order to consider any comments, public comments regarding the Urban Counties Program for our 5-year consolidated plans. Anyone here to address us regarding that?
Judge, if I may, these consolidated plans include funding from completed activities that we still have a surplus of, in which the cities would like to reprogram their funds to an activity not previously identified. Additionally, it also includes funding from the precincts that were set aside for specific activities and now wish to relocate them and move them into street improvements, water and sewer improvements, and the like, as the need has arisen that we must continue to address those things that mostly affect the overall community. There was a situation, though, where one of the communities that we fund did not have a quorum. Therefore, I would like to remove them from this consolidated plan. Our plans, when we do an amendment, which is called a substantial amendment, usually take us anywhere from 3 to 4 months to do. We've worked with this particular community and tried to help them along because they did want to change their activity from streets to a park project. However, because they failed to have a quorum in that time frame that we've worked with them on, we are requesting that that item be completely eliminated and that the city be required to continue with what's in their consolidated plan and their action plans.
How active are the commissioners regarding this budget? They're all pretty active.
I'm sorry, there was a question?
I think every community in Precinct 1 is part of the Urban County now.
I didn't hear the question.
I didn't understand the question.
The question was, how active are you, the commissioners, with the allocation of the budget in terms of?
Allocation of the budget?
100%?
Well, we use ours, but as far as what the cities get, is that what you're asking? We don't have any, I don't have any
It is
participation.
just split, as I indicated in the past. It is split how the cities do conduct their own public hearings. The cities do tell their constituents how much money they're going to get, and they're the ones that actually decide what's going to happen in their community. I just place them on the work plan as what's an eligible activity.
Are you talking about our budget that we get, or are you talking
Well,
about the city's
just
budget?
both. I mean,
It's
the
like-
whole program.
Like in your case, Commissioner Cantu, you don't go to San Juan and say, this is
Correct.
what I want to do, Hidalgo. No,
Absolutely. No,
they're
because-
allowed to.
Because I haven't seen or looked at anything other than getting ready for this meeting.
So like my
The
budget-
evolution of the creation of the budget.
The only reason I would recommend that the work plan change, except for that particular city, which happens to be, in this case, the city of Elsa, is that if we don't stick to our plans and we don't stick to the actual 5-year plans and the 1-year plans, we, the county, run the risk of not meeting our ratio on an annual basis. So we've already spent approximately 3 months with this particular community, and we just can't afford to spend another 3 months working on another substantial amendment.
Who supervises Urban County from, is it under you, Valde?
With respect to Urban County, Ms. Serna is the administrator for the program, the funds, and the budgets. With respect to the interaction with the county, it's Ms. Serna and myself.
And she's got a governing board of people that
No,
she
sir.
has an advi-
The advisory board has been obsolete since 2006, when the county of Hidalgo took the Urban County program as a department.
Okay.
So, hold on one second, because this will impact me. The city of Elsa wants to change their budget?
They wanted to change their budget from street improvements, which was identified back in 2013 and 2018, from street improvements, which were identified by the community at that time, to a park project. Because somehow, throughout that process, they did not consider using Urban County funds when they were creating the actual work plans. And now they're saying that there might be an opportunity for them to get a Texas Parks and Wildlife grant in which they will need matching funds. And at this moment, we hold it off anymore, Commissioner. We're not going to meet our ratio. If we keep doing this with all our cities, that's a big risk that the county takes.
Okay.
I guess, I don't understand your question, Judge, but just like our allocation of precinct 2, 465, I think, más o menos, half of our money goes to nonprofits and half our money go to different projects, improvements, which we usually need to accumulate 2 or 3 years to build a project. Right now, we're going to build an indoor gym in Hidalgo, and so that takes us around 2.5 years worth of monies to build, but that's ongoing and that will be built in the next year.
Just like you have that project, Commissioner, most of the cities want to continue doing that too. If we do that, then we will never meet our ratio.
I just kind of want to answer the judge's question.
Yes.
Well, what if you lend somebody money and then you can recuperate it that year? When you're gonna
Well,
build?
at this moment, we don't have any actual money to lend in the past, but it's an option. If there's a community that says, I can't do my project, such as, let's say precinct 2 says, I'm going to have to wait till my second allocation, and they want to let you borrow it, and then you'll pay it through the next year. We can work on that.
As soon as it comes in,
Be-
we'll give it.
Because at that time, we're still spending the money. If I have all 18 communities and the 4 precincts planning to do projects like this, the county will not meet its ratio. And the threat with not meeting the ratio is that we could lose our funding.
I believe Granjeno loaned precinct 1 time.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, we already paid you back, brother.
Yeah.
No, you gave it back.
No,
We're done.
yeah, it's already paid back.
I believe
True.
they loaned them
Very
$500
true.
million.
But I spent all my money.
Yes, sir, you do.
Okay. No one is here to address the recording of this public hearing, so the public hearing now is closed.
Item 2, Judge and Commissioners, is requesting the approval of the substantial amendment to the Urban County program's 5-year consolidated plans for 2013 and 2017, excluding the city of Elsa. and 2018-2022 excluding the city of Elsa.
You have notified them, right, of this?
They're aware of it. As a matter of fact, I personally did not speak with them, either one of them, but they are aware, and we've scheduled a meeting with them on Friday. Commissioner, their street improvement project will benefit a substantial amount of people throughout the community. The fact that we have an opportunity to possibly be able to get funding, it's just an opportunity. So until they actually have something that's signed that says, yes, we're getting the grant, then we have to proceed with the projects that we've identified.
I just want to make sure we communicated it.
Definitely communication for the last 3 months.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Our final item, Judge, is subject to compliance with House Bill 1295 when and if applicable. The Urban County Program is requesting the award of bids and the approval of contracts with RG Enterprises LLC doing business as G&G Contractors and A1 installation for the demolition and reconstruction of the following. The first item is 1 unit in the county-wide area, 1 unit in the city of Mercedes, 1 unit in the city of Donna, in a total amount, contract amount of $205,100 to RG Enterprises, G&G Contractors. And item 2 is 1 unit in the city of Donna, and the total contract amount of $68,000 to A1 Installation.
Move for approval on C1, 2.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Judge, on the item regarding the planning, I'd be very happy to sit down and meet with you, talk about what we've done with the consolidated plan and why we've done that.
No problem. I was just wondering how, because I know I'm not active with you.
Yes.
I was one of the commissioners
Right.
where I need to.
Pretty
spend-
much deal
spend
with
more
each
time with
individual community, the precincts themselves individually, plus the cities themselves individually. And the only thing that, like I said, we're only following through on how the Urban County Program was created. And until the commissioner changes it, we just continue doing what we've done.
I got.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item 16A.
Marshall?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Omero Garza, the Dow County Fire Marshal, and today I bring forth the 2019, January 1st, 2019 to September 1st, which is the HCFMO activity report. If you go down the report, you'll see fire investigation 69. Might seem like a low number. A lot of these are complex cases, but that's where we're at as of September 1st. Illegal burn complaints, 5. Those are actually complaints that, again, will be serious in nature that are addressed with the TCEQ. Citations, we have 8, and those are for illegal burning. Those are cases where we've gone and given warnings, and then we have to go back for noncompliance. Warning 73, office visits 1,574, plan reviews at the office for 20, burn permits issued 1,043, and then we have 96 commercial burn permits. That's more for land clearing for development. Money collected from burn permits is $35,600. Money collected from other services is $47,120.66. And the total money collected so far is $82,720.66. Our number of fire inspections at 398. Public relations, events, media releases, we're at 107. That includes fire prevention training, life safety training. Could be elderly centers, daycares, schools. If you go to the next page, we have the rural fire calls. As of September 1st, we've reviewed a total of 1,486 rural fire calls that have been submitted to the Hidalgo County Auditor for reimbursement. Those are calls that come through the contracted fire departments. As of now, we have 20 departments from around the county that have contracts with us. In 2018, as part of our
report review process, we were able to retain a combined total of $171,290 from the contract reports. And so the 2019 data will be compiled after this year when we get everything over to the auditor's office. And so there's also another attachment. It's a graph, a chart, and you can see what agency requested through for reimbursement, and then through our review, were we able to pay them. Any questions?
I have two. Just an update on how the marshal's office is doing in terms of being able to review every building in the rural on an annual basis.
I'm working with HR and executive office and budget and trying to get staffing. We're a small staff now at the office. I've lost through before coming in several positions. They've reduced my budget, and so I'm working currently with them to try to get part-time staffing so that I can dedicate them to a full-on fire inspection program. A lot of the businesses that we deal with out in the rural areas are mom and pop. You don't see big box stores building in the rural areas. We've got a lot of dollar stores. And so having customers come back to renew for their annual inspection or to renew permits for their businesses, a lot of them don't make it. And so we don't have the reoccurring. But that is something that we've got with our CodePal, our database system, so that we can go back and make sure that we're hitting all these businesses as the annuals come through. But I do need staff, sir.
I mean, I guess you need to provide, and I'm sure they've asked for it, is, I guess, documentation, right? Like, what does it require to get somebody out there? How many per person? How many buildings can they review? The importance of an arson case. Obviously, it's important to try to figure it out. But to me, the reviewing of building is more important, right?
Sure.
I have brand new buildings in my office. My personal office is brand new, and I get inspected every year. And they'll find little things like fire hydrants or whatever it may be. These buildings are way older, and we can't wait for something, dreadful to happen where the roof collapses or something that we need to be providing the same service the city has. So
if I could get staff that city has, and we could just up it by, like I said, even part-time staff, that would help me tremendously. We have, like I said, it's just a lot of busy work that doesn't allow. The other component is the comp time. Comp time, my guys are on call. They accumulate comp time, and then they want to take their time off. And so they compile 200-300 hours of comp time. And when they ask for it, if it doesn't interfere with what they have to do, you got to give it to them. It's their earned time. And so that makes it very complex also.
Marshall, you do your job on a daily basis.
Yes,
I don't, right? This is the first time I see this year.
Mhm.
You need to come up with something for us to review.
Sure.
So that we understand what you see on a day-to-day basis. I can't sit here and debate with you how best to do your job. And I know you can do a good job. Provide us all of that. Just don't tell us staff, right? Because staff is not always going to get you to the finish line. So that's all on that item. On the second item, if you can work with the chiefs, whenever they talk about, and I'll have the chiefs invite you, when they talk about trash collection and the program we're trying to implement, I think that you need to make some of the meetings so that you can tell them about burn permits versus what
Sure.
they're trying to do in collecting trash.
I'll just extend the invite to whoever is holding those meetings. I've never been invited.
I just thought about that when I saw 1,043 burn permits. They're probably inexpensive, so people are rather burn than have their trash collected like everybody else.
Sure, and TCQ allows for the burning of household trash for counties that do not provide garbage pickup. And
That's
so
why I
that's
think
why
you
you
need
have
to be
that
in the
number.
dialogue. Yeah,
Sure.
that's why I think you need to be in that dialogue.
Okay, just invite me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just have one question. Marshall, I know that when you first got on board, you started inspecting, and I had provided some assistance because you had administratively, you started inspecting our county buildings.
Every county facility is inspected
Okay.
to make sure that we're meeting or exceeding life safety expectations.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, 17.
Morning, Judge Commissioner Sergio Cruz. I'll be presenting for Mr. Arnold Patrick for adult probation. Item 17A1 is approval to accept the DWI court grant from the Office of the Governor in the amount of $154,136.99 for the grant period of September 1st through August 31st, and also to include the ratification of the grant submittal.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 17A2 is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the above-mentioned grant.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 17A, I guess on the Veterans Court Grant 1 and 2, is approval to accept the Veterans Court Grant from the Office of the Governor in the amount of $95,627 and certification of those revenues certified by the county auditor to include the ratification of the grant submittal.
So move on both item 1 and 2.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
On the DWI Court Grant is approval to accept the misdemeanor DWI Court Grant from the Office of the Governor in the amount of $202,141.20 and certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor to include the ratification of the grant submittal.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 17A again for Mental Health Court Grant is approval to accept the Mental Health Court Grant from the Office of the Governor in the amount of $286,773.82 for the grant period of September 1st through August 31st, along with the certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor, along with the ratification of the grant submittal.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion
Item
carries.
17, the Youthful Offender Court Grant is approval to accept the Hidalgo County Youthful Offender Court Grant from the Office of the Governor in the amount of $168,457.92 for the grant period of September 1st, 2019 through August 31st, 2020, along with the certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor and the ratification of the grant submittal.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 17B is approval and ratification of the Hidalgo County Emerging Adult and Strategy Grant from the U.S. Department of Justice requesting a one-year grant extension from September 30th, 2019 to September 30th, 2020.
Approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And item 17C is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the DWI grant program income in the amount of $2,057 and appropriation of the same.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. TJ Arredondo with the Planning Department. Item 18A, appointment by county judge of member to the Hidalgo County Subdivision Advisory Board and Hidalgo County Board of Building Line Adjustment. This is a 2-year term.
Okay, Jose H. Ramon.
Okay.
May I have a motion to approve my
Move for
appointment?
approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.